Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, let's see if we can get this action system, the action system implementation, get it going today. Yesterday was a lot of planning. Today is hopefully going to be a lot of implementation. And I just want to say thank you so much, Derek, as well, for becoming a member over on YouTube. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully we will have a very productive fall/autumn and make some really nice progress on this game. And what's up, Jax? Good morning, good morning. And Calvino, good morning, good morning. Okay, so yesterday we did a lot of planning around this system. I think we have enough written down to actually start writing some code here and see if we can find some weaknesses in the system we have. I think the main gain with this new system is that each action is gonna have way more different states, which means that we can better structure the different animations that needs to run and similar stuff. Another thing that I think is going to be a good, that is another big difference, is the dependency. We might not have written it down here. We're gonna write it down as well, but the action dependency is we're gonna split it up a bit. We're not gonna let dependency is pretty much just only gonna have one job in the new system. So we're gonna strip out provider and interrupts processing. We're gonna simplify this one. But the biggest change in the new system is hopefully gonna be how we handle where do we have it? This one. So instead of polling on all the dependencies every time one dependency changes the state, we're gonna push from the dependency. So dependencies are gonna listen to what defines the dependency, and if the dependency is fulfilled, the dependency itself is gonna push a message that it's now fulfilled to whatever is listening to it. Something like that. Let's just start implementing it and see where we end up. Is it bad to have a class with the same? We would like this as a namespace later on. We also have to keep in mind that, I guess the namespace is going to help us with that, but we have we have something called action in C#, I think, if I recall correctly. But, I think we're gonna do... Okay, I think we're gonna have to do it like this. We're gonna have a... What is it? Virtual class action and a virtual class action or interaction. So let's do it like this. Honestly, I want to do... Let's just do this for now. So we're on a different branch now as well. So if everything goes to hell or to shit, we should be able to revert it quite easily. So what I want to have first of all is... We want to do these as... We want to move away from mono behavior as well for these actions. So let's do empty, and then we call it action. Yeah. Action and interaction. I do wonder if... Can I add, or should we rename these to action base and interaction base, just to differ between the namespace? We're gonna have these as virtual as well. We can probably keep them like this. Let's see. Because I mean, yeah, this is a bit weird, but if this is... Oh, I always forget. Let's double check this one. C# virtual. Okay, it's abstract. So I'm thinking about having it like something like this. And Jax, your cell shader tutorial really helped me a lot. I made a shader based on yours, adding extra normal roughness and metalness map. Oh, nice. Nice to hear. Feel free to share it in the chat. Or maybe links are blocked in the YouTube chat, but I would love if you share it on Discord, either by messaging me or writing in my Discord, just an image or something like that. Like, I want to see how it looks with normal roughness and metalness map. But very nice, glad I could help. So namespace, game.action, public class interaction, but this one is also going to be abstract. And we are gonna implement action here as well, right? This feels... I mean, it's just 2 empty abstract classes right now, but feels good. Don't like this. Let's just do it like this real quick then. Yo, what's up, Geralt? Good morning, good morning. Let's just rename this one real quick. What is the quick... that's not it. F2, Control F2. But that's only in this file, right? Let's search for that instead. Derek, hey, can you remind me about what all the action system is and its scope? Yeah, sure. So basically, the action system is all of the different actions that entities in our game can do. So basically what we're gonna do, so in this garden where all the creatures lives, we're pretty much gonna run a simulation. So all the creatures are we're gonna simulate them having a life and like thoughts, and everything they should be able to do, like run, jump, eat, focus, play, whatever. All of those different things are actions. So, and to control all of those actions, we're gonna implement pretty much a state machine, and that's what we're doing now. So the action system we're currently implementing is the state machine that controls all of the different actions for our entities in the game. And we're also going to use it for the playable character. So it's an action system containing all of the different actions entities can take. I hope that clears it up somewhat. Like, isn't it F2 to rename something, or am I? Is it because... Okay, I get it. Let's do it like that. Let's compile it, I think. One sec. What the hell is happening now? Did I screw up here? We have some compile error, I think. The type or namespace named action old, but we don't have action old here. So that shouldn't even be a problem to begin with, right? Action old. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Now we have action old and we have action new. And we want to go with action here. Jax, roughness is like smooth the edge and adjust the area of specular by map alpha. Metalness is blending environment light by map alpha degree 2. Let's see, I'm trying to visualize this. Yeah, I think I get it. And metalness can also influence the color of specular. Very nice. I'm very interested in this because I've been thinking about doing something similar, like extending my cell shader as well. I have already extended it with normal maps, which I love the effect of. We haven't really used it yet though, but like when I was testing around with it, it looked real nice. So yeah, I've been thinking about doing something with metalness as well. I also get, let's see, I want to draw this, I think. Like when you do specular on metal stuff, probably want to do, like, I've been thinking about this and I've been wanting to experiment with it. But if we have like a plane like this, let's say, and like this is a sheet of metal, and we currently use, so I currently use my cell shade solution. Since it's metal, we're gonna have some like a high specular value, so we get a specular highlight like this maybe. But I've been thinking about, like, you want to do, I don't know the term for it, but if it was metal and it's just a plane, right? Then I would like to have, I want the specular highlight to be like this, right? That would be very nice. So like a band like this. And if we want to go make it even harder for us, like 2 bands like this would be very nice. Like instead of this classical circle highlight, you know? But yeah, we're taking a break from shaders right now. Or I am, at least until probably Friday. We'll see. Okay, so now we have action and interaction, and I also want to introduce dependency. Like, I want to make, I don't know how clear this is, but when you watch an anime and someone has glasses on, you can usually see a lot of drawn cartoons these days. You get this very nice, I don't know what to refer to it as, but yeah. Actions, I want to add yeah, enemy swords as well. Like, I'm thinking, so I have a task that is, like, I want to improve the namespace structure for my project. I'm not, like, entirely sure exactly how I want to do it, though. How I want to go about naming these. So if we're going to do dependency, it's going to be namespace action. Do I want to name the file action dependency, or am I okay with just naming it dependency? We can rename the files eventually. Dependency. Action dependency. Dependency. I think we're gonna go action dependency. It's all about, do I want to keep... Yeah, I think I want to keep this, so we're gonna do game.action, abstract class action, game.action, interaction action. And then we have action dependency. But we're just gonna name it dependency, but it's gonna be in namespace game.action. Okay, we're gonna implement this one soon. Jax, one thing is ShaderGraph doesn't support double pass, so if I want to do outline by flip normal's way without post-processing, I need to convert it to ASE. I don't know what ASE is, but I do remember ShaderGraph not supporting multiple passes. A little bit surprised that that's still that it's still the case. It feels like multiple passes for shaders is such a big feature. But maybe it's just a big feature when you do a lot of stylized stuff. Amplify shader editor. Oh, okay. And then I want to add state as well. Action state. Right. But we're gonna rename it just state. And I don't want it to be a class. Instead, we want enum right state. Okay, so now we have action, action dependency, action interaction, action state. I'm gonna start implementing them real soon. I'm just wondering, game action dependency. Okay, first of all, I want to add one more state here, because we have finishing, interrupting, and then we have a third option here. So pretty much in both of these that we currently have, it's up to the action in question to handle the object it did its action to after processing. So in finishing, we need to do something with the object. In interrupting, we need to do something with the object. In the case of pickup, finishing might be just putting it down on the ground again, and interrupting might be dropping it down on the ground again. But we need a third option here, a third way to quit processing, and that is, interrupting is quite a good name for that, but the third option is going to be, we want to be able to exit processing without needing to do anything. To the object in question. So pretty much we want to be able to exit processing and just throwing away our pointer to the object we did the action to, if that makes sense. Yo, what's up, Cooler SK? Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday, and hopefully the stream works better today than yesterday. I have one additional. Yeah, we're gonna add the action, or we're gonna move action state machine down to here as well. But I think we're gonna name it action handler, actually. But what I'm thinking about here is, so previously we had interrupt processing as part of action dependency. I'm I'm skeptical of having it in here. I wanna pull this one out and have it as a separate class. But we can wait with that one. Let's just add the action handler as well. And then we're done. Action handler is actually going to be, that's the only mono behavior we're going to have. In this new action system. Yeah, I think that's all the classes. So we can start with action state. But before we add these states, yeah, whatever. Before we're adding these states, I just need to finishing, interrupting. I think the best example I can think of here is the one with pickup, which I've mentioned a couple of times. So the character is holding something. The character has something picked up and is currently processing it, right? We're holding it. If we exit that action by finishing it, we're just putting it down on the ground again. The other case is we're processing, we get shoved, maybe, and we drop the item. So, interrupting. I don't know about the name here, but anyway. And the third option then is our pickup action is holding the item, but our consume action is also eating the object, right? And when we're done consuming the object, it no longer exists. So action, interaction, pickup can no longer process it because it no longer exists. But we still need to exit processing in some way, right? So we need a third option here. I just don't know what I want to call it. Yo, what's up, E-Dragon? Good morning, good morning. Or one could think that the third option, or like the first two cases I mentioned, are both finishing. One just exits and one completes or whatever, while interrupting is the third one I mentioned. Although I wonder how that would look. I guess we can start with these. Unavailable, available, ready, initializing, processing, finishing, interrupting. And then if we go to action, we're definitely gonna have public abstract class action. We're gonna have one public state. I don't think we want to have something like this anymore, where we invoke, or where we have a state change event and invoke something for every change we do. think that's a little bit over the top. I'm pretty sure. Try start processing. Set up dependencies. Pretty sure we're gonna have something like this. So in action, we're gonna define methods for initializing, processing, finishing, interrupting. Ready. I'm not entirely sure if we actually do anything with this. Ready on processing. Yeah, I think we do want much like we have a state change event here, unit event action old. We want something like this, but we don't care about all the different states. We care about Unity events. And we're gonna do action. We're gonna do on. want to have a small o here, I think. On ready. Is it the action we want to send? So pretty much when this one gets ready, we want to invoke on ready. In the case of our playable entity, so the character, we want to be notified when an action becomes ready, so we can properly update the UI to show to the player what actions are available right now. And when it comes to the creature entities, we want to notify the AI brain, or whatever it's called, that an action is ready to use now, if that would in some way change the behavior of the entity. I don't know, a quick example would be a creature is hungry, so it needs food. It starts searching for food, and then we have an action consume that is ready maybe when we focus food. So as soon as we focus food, consume will become ready, and when it becomes ready, we want to notify the brain that now we can actually eat, pretty much. And then of course we also want, but I'm wondering, like with this system, we're gonna have a lot of Unity events firing in all directions, pretty much. But that might be okay. And I wonder if it's really needed to send this. So the idea here is that we send this action, but whatever. We'll see. And then I want for interrupting, finishing, processing, and initializing, we definitely want separate methods. We're going to make them abstract only, or we're going to make them abstract. Each different or each specific action will have to implement all of them: initializing, processing, finishing, and interrupting. As for ready, available, and unavailable, I don't know. Like, I'm questioning, or I'm wondering if, like, do we want to play some custom animations when something is unavailable, available? Do we want to... I don't know. I'm wondering if we want to do something like this. Available, ready. Ready is only gonna be I think this one is only gonna be able to be set internally. So the action itself is gonna like set it to ready, and depending on dependencies. Okay, so something I definitely know that we want is public abstract void initialize. Is this how you spell it? Okay, yeah, we have had it correct previously. Initialize. Finishing. Do we want to call it finalizing instead? Initializing, finalizing, interrupting, finishing. Finalize. Finalize. Okay. Yeah. Let's call it finish then. And interrupt. Initialize, process, finish, interrupt. Hey, what's up, Mohammed? I'm wondering how this game will be. Hopefully nice. Very nice. Okay, so, and these are going to be called from the abstract class, because we're going to have, I wonder if I want to do it like this. Set unavailable, set available. I'm thinking having something like this, set unavailable, and here we just do you should always be able to set it to unavailable, no matter what. And then we do if state is not equal to then we just return false. Otherwise, we set it to available and return true. So this is like if something for some reason calls set available while we're in any other state than unavailable, we don't care. Like, because it's implied that it's available if it's in state processing or finishing or interrupting or whatever. Or maybe not in interrupting, actually. But we'll see. Set unavailable, set available. And then we want to do private bool set ready. If state is not equal to state dot available. Right. Set available. Oh, actually, set available if state is not equal to unavailable. Or. Yeah, we want to change the state here as well. And here, when we change the state to ready, we also want to do onReady dot invoke this. Right. And set ready. Yeah. We wonder if we want to keep this, if we just want to do a switch case. And that is pretty much set state. Maybe that's a bit cleaner. I wonder how that would look instead. So we do public, but then we have this problem that we could force something from outside to be ready. I wonder if this is nicer. And then we can do at the end of all of this would return false. If state. Oh, actually, we don't care about anything other here, so we just do state. And for this one, we only want, let's see if it's unavailable already. Just do it like this instead. New state. One sec. Do we want to, maybe we want to exit early. Or do we want to repeat this multiple times? Actually, can't you do... Wow, really? Uh, Okay, we had something here. Not really what I'm looking for. Tuple pad. Do we want to do this with tuples? I don't know. Maybe. Like, I want to try how it looks if we do it like this. So that should be switch, state, new state. Yo, what's up, a Fuzzy Bear? Just popping in to wish a fellow dev a great day, and no, you're not alone. Thank you, appreciate it. You too, have a great day. Because it would be, I think it's pretty clear if we do it like this. State, new state. And then we should be able to do, and like we only care about, that's the, for unavailable, for instance, we don't care what current state it is. We just care about the new one. So I wonder what would happen if we do, can we actually write it like this? Yeah, we probably can. So for unavailable, we would probably need to do, if we're unavailable and we want to switch to unavailable, that should work. Available. So for this one, it's going to look available, ready, initializing, processing, finishing, interrupting, and return true. Like, for this one, it looks pretty shit, honestly, but for the other ones, I think it's gonna look better, or so I hope. Yo, what's up, Amena Pro? Long time no see. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I had a little bit of a summer break. Hope you had a nice summer, by the way. So if we take a look at unavailable, for instance, we can get to available from finishing, interrupting, finishing, interrupting, and ready and unavailable. Okay, so this one is also gonna look fucking weird. This one, though, much better. This one as well. This one, yeah, we'll see. We can go from unavailable to available. We can go from, I don't know about these. I don't really care about these, I don't think. Unavailable to available, ready to available, finishing to available, and interrupting to available. these are just exactly the same. But now we're hopefully going to move into a little bit of more interesting territory, I think. So ready, we can only get to ready from available. So we have from ready. Oh, actually from available to ready. Not entirely okay with like this line. It's the same. We'll see. And if we move to ready, we also want to do on ready dot invoke, and we send this. And then we return true. Monopro, what language is that again? C#. Yes, indeed. Spot on. State new state on ready invoke this. And then we have and Unity, yes. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about going to processing here. I'm gonna show you soon what I mean. The idea is that, so all of these actions are no longer going to be mono behavior, but they're going to be controlled by action handler. So it's up to action handler, which is a mono behavior, to process all of the currently processing actions. So action handler is going to have a list of all the actions that are currently processing, and for each frame it's going to loop through those and process them. Because if we do we're going to have a case where we go from state ready to state initializing. And when we do, like here, we want to call initialize, right? And then we want to return true. And then when we go from case, or when we go from state initializing to state processing, do we want to call on process here or not? Maybe not actually, but we do want to call on process, I think. Initialize. But is this weird that we're going to call initialize, we're going to call finish and interrupt on all of the other ones, but not this one here. We call on process invoke instead. And then we return true, and then it's up for something else to call process each frame. Maybe. Imanapro, can you add speak to chat? So you're talking about having the having the YouTube or Twitch chat on screen. If that's the case, I would love to. But it's against Twitch TOS to have like the YouTube chat on screen, which sucks. No, I meant TTS on YouTube. Text to speak. I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. I hear you, but we'll see. I don't know what would be the point currently of that. Initializing processing on process we invoke here. I think that's good. Case. I wonder if we want to have something like this as well. Unity event action on stop processing or stop process. Is this too many? Because we want to notify on stop process, it's very important that we notify a few different things actually, that we're not processing this anymore. Or we could do on process change, I think is better. Imena Pro, believe me, it would be the best for you. What are you streaming with? Would be the best for me. Yeah, depends on like what is the purpose of this TTS is my question. If it's just to post distracting stuff, nah, I don't know. And what I'm streaming with, I'm currently using OBS. I think we're gonna have on ready and on process change. We don't want to have two different process change. Yeah, fuck yeah, we do. And then we can go from processing, we can go to either finishing, and here we want to do on process change as well. And then we want to call finish. I wonder if we want to put this one above or below. Pretty sure we want it here. But we can also go to interrupting, maybe even a third option. I'm not sure just yet. And here we want to call process change as well. And we want to call interrupt. And then we want to return true. Imena Pro, are you using OBS Streamlabs? No, I'm just using OBS. Something like this. PG King, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Welcome back. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hope you had a great summer. Something like this. Imena Pro, have you used Streamlabs before? Yes, I have. I actually like OBS, like the open source bare bones OBS better than Streamlabs. But like, I don't have any big complaints about the Streamlabs branch or fork. PG King, how was your summer? I had a great summer. It was a great summer. It was a period of some hectic stuff where we did a lot of different stuff, but mostly it was like smooth sailing, so I'm happy with it. Hope you had a good one as well. Himena Pro, what do you not like about Streamlabs? Because I'm thinking to install it. Like, I don't have any big complaints about it. It's just that the original branch, like OBS, it feels a little bit more lightweight. And I just like open source stuff. PG King, I had a great summer too. Nice to hear, nice to hear. Glad to start work again. I'm not gonna lie, I missed it. Yes, same here actually. Same here. It feels very good to be back. I think this is the better option. We just have to be careful which methods are allowed to call this one, basically. I think that's the only scary part. And I actually think when we have dependencies here, the dependencies are gonna call, like when all of the dependencies are fulfilled, that's when we're gonna call set state state.ready here. But yeah, when we go from unavailable to available as well, we're gonna have to do some additional stuff. I think. Yeah, we're gonna have to check which state we're actually supposed to be in. Or are we? We'll see about that. PG King, I started converting my old Game Maker project into Godot and C#. The learning curve is a bit steep, but so much more structured than Game Maker. Yeah, I've never worked with Game Maker, but like from what I've seen, it feels like it's a bit too I can't think about the word. So let's just use unstructured for now. But yeah, it basically feels way more unstructured than like Godot or Unity or whatnot. But so you're working with Godot and C#. How's that working? Like when I started looking at Godot, one of the things that made me like I don't like the idea of their own language like GDScript. I don't know why they didn't go with, I don't know, Python or C#. But then I saw that you could actually develop with C# in Godot, but you had to install some stuff and set it up right. Himena Pro, how do you stream in YouTube as the same type as Twitch? I'm just doing multiple outputs, and there exists, like for OBS, there exists an add-on for it, and for OBS Streamlabs, I think it's built in. I'm not sure, multi-stream or something like that. PG King, you can attach C# scripts on scenes, but yes, you have to install another Godot. Okay, yeah. But it's quite complete for my use since I'm a beginner. Yeah, I've been wanting to dabble in Godot, like with do some small game on the side in Godot, but just haven't gotten around to it just yet. eDragon, only need to use the .NET version of it and install the correct extension in VS Code. Oh, nice. That doesn't sound too much work. But so, like, if you work with C# in Godot, you don't get the full. Like, do you get the full features, or is there some stuff you need to implement with GD script, or whatever it's called? You get everything. Okay, nice. I actually love C#. Fuck. Just using Godot. Okay, nice. Might look into that. But okay. So now we have a set state method here that gets us from one state to another based on a set of rules. I think we have implemented it in such a way that we only move like this, right? My only pet peeve, or the only drawback I see right now from here, is that we need to be careful of which classes and components that call this method, and also unavailable here is a little bit of a wild card, because we should pretty much, I mean, it's not we don't have it visualized in this figure here, but we should be able to get to unavailable from every state here. I just don't know how I want to implement this one just yet. Like, if we jump to unavailable, if we do it from ready, do I want to jump to available first and then unavailable? If we do it from initializing, do I want to jump to processing and then finishing and then available, then unavailable? I'm not entirely sure how I want to implement this one just yet. So I think we're going to continue. We're going to continue, but not caring too much about this state. It's a little bit of a different state than the other ones. And the second thing with this unavailable state is that ready, like the jump from available to ready, is always going to work with, we're going to push this. So if we have an action, it has a set of dependencies, they update accordingly, and when all dependencies are fulfilled, we push the fact that this action is now fulfilled and ready. So we don't pull anything. Like we get notified from our dependencies and then we switch to ready. We don't check if they are all fulfilled. we get told that they are fulfilled. But if we are in state ready, and then everything becomes unavailable, so we jump to unavailable, then when we get back to available, how does the push and pull work then? That's what I'm wondering. But yeah, notes. Yeah, maybe I should put that as notes here. eDragon, only thing I got confused by was GD script, signals, and C# events can't be mixed, but it was just, I know, what a mistake of me. GD script signals. So signals is like their implementation of events, I take it. Okay. And they can't be used, or they can't be mixed with C# events. Is that because they are implemented using C# events, or I wonder why that is? Yeah, it's a tiny drawback. I think it's okay. One negative aspect of the old action system as well, which I don't like that much, is that we have too much. It's very fragmentic, or it's a lot of back and forth as well. We have a lot of logic in action, we have a lot of logic in action interaction, and then we have a lot of logic here. So it's pretty much, it was like this. So start processing base, start processing, okay, then we have to jump to this one, and what happens then? Okay, this. So it was a lot of jumping back and forth between the hierarchy, class hierarchy. I want to avoid that one here, and that's why we do this. So we work a bit more with abstract classes. So setting the state, like I wonder, get private set. Yeah, I think we're gonna have this one as private. So even though we have a subclass that want to change the state, it's gonna have to go through this set state method. I'm pretty sure. Interaction. Yeah, we'll see about that one. Yeah, I think I want to add dependencies now. I don't think, or they're going to be a little bit different than this, but not much, I don't think. And if I remember correctly, I don't know if I want to open up to... Yeah, maybe we want to keep it like this. When we went through this state machine here, it looked like we only care about... Like, all of our dependencies are always if something is processing, right? I don't think we care about anything else. eDragon, think that C# events can't communicate with the built-in signals within Godot, but I'm not 100% certain. Use C# just for a short time period until swapped back to GDScript, since exporting to HTML5 won't work with C# in current Godot version. Ah, okay. Okay, I don't... Okay, dependencies. How do we actually want to build these up? We want to have them as classes. In state. I don't think we need not state actually, but in state. We don't care about provider right now, I don't think. What the fuck do we? Imana Pro, I want to stream too, but I don't know if I should. If you want to, you want to. Just do it. Yeah, we want to have one of these as well. Hell yeah, we do. Action, state. Can we do... Public abstract. Action. Oh, we don't even have this one right now. Let's just add that one real quick. Action type. I think we're just gonna copy this one. Yeah. Namespace. Can we just have it like this? I don't know. Type. Yeah, maybe. What? Game.type. We want to change this one to game.action.type. Hmm? Should be enough with type. But I think I would prefer action.type though. But we can have it like this. Action type. Okay. Public abstract type. Let's get private. I just want it as a get. And then finally, I think we just want the dependencies as well. And then I think we're done with game.action or the abstract class action. So then we could probably... Did I change? Oh, whatever. Then we can probably implement action jump. Do we even use this one in its current? Yeah, I think we do. But the Mana Pro can show us progress in game. Not right now. Not right now. Yeah, so when we have this one done, we're gonna implement action, I think. Actions. Actions. We're gonna rename this one action. And then we're gonna add a folder. Which we call actions. Like that. And then we're gonna create a folder which we call interactions. So here we have everything that defines the action system, and here we have the actual actions and the interactions. I think that's how I want to do it. So previously we did it a little bit differently. Interactables we probably want as well. That's true. Yeah, I think, yeah, okay, this is probably a better folder structure. Actually. Or is it? We'll see. Okay, so as for dependency, this one is going to have a bit more logic as compared to its previous version. Dependency, and we wanted it, let's see here. We want to be able to define multiple different dependencies. Some should, for some, all needs to be fulfilled. For some, only one of them needs to be fulfilled. I think the example we had yesterday was inspect. To be able to inspect something, we either have focus being fulfilled or we have action pickup being fulfilled. So one of those. And then we also have action interaction feed. For this one to be fulfilled, we need to have something in our hands. But we also need to focus something that can be fed, pretty much. Which makes me... For something to be ready, like the dependencies, constraints, or whatever we want to call it, a few other things needs to be true, right? So for instance, interaction feed, for this one to be ready, whatever we're holding in pickup needs to be consumable, I guess. And whatever we're focusing needs to be feedable. So, how can we define this in a nice generic way? Or I guess that's something we want to define in action interaction. Now when I think about it, is this... So these dependencies and stuff like that, are they gonna vary between entities that has them? So if we take a look here at our current system, we have action interaction pickup. It depends on focus in state processing and collect not in state processing, but okay, we don't care about this one. But like, isn't this the case always for action interaction pickup? Like, won't this be the dependency for all entities having pickup? That's what I'm wondering. Consume, for instance. That's true. Consume. For consume, we will probably have entities that can't pick something up, but should be able to consume it instantly anyway. Like, I'm wondering if we can define these dependencies in the classes themselves instead of having to do it here. Inspect, focus, pick up, collect. There's a lot of action interaction or dependencies that are just focus in state processing. And it's almost always the provider. Yeah, these dependencies. Do we really need to define them like this? I'm wondering. Probably not. Like, I'm wondering if we can define... Oh, this would be great, I think. If we take a look at dependencies, it would be nice if we could define them as... Like, I want to be able to define a dependency that is action is in state. Yeah, we're going to call it like this right now. So like this should be one dependency, I think. Action is in state. So then we check, okay, is action in... Another one, so this is the most basic one. This is what we have been using a lot here. But then if we take, for instance, if we take action interaction feed, it depends on two things. It depends on action interaction focus and action interaction pickup. But not only that action interaction focus is in processing and that pickup is in processing, it also depends on what we're holding and what we're focusing. One sec. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. What's up, Diligence? Is this NPC AI or question mark? Pretty spot on. It's like a state machine for all of the actions that NPCs can do, but also that the player can do. Right? Yo, what's up, Yu Xiang? Hope you had a wonderful summer. You too, Diligence, by the way. Don't remember if I said that to you yesterday or not. Okay, so the fact is that we actually have an action system in place. We're just we're improving upon it, making it more, cleaning it up, making it a bit more optimized and stuff like that. And currently we were working with, so we have the new way of doing actions here, which I like. So we're doing dependencies now. So I definitely want to be able to specify dependencies like action is in state. Like that's the most simple type of dependencies. And that's the type of dependencies we have been using a lot. Focus, in state, processing. This time around, however, I want to make it, I want to extend upon that one as well. And just before I went AFK real quick, I gave an example. I'm going to say that example once again, right here. So when we want to feed something, we want to check what we're holding and what we're focusing. Whatever we're holding should be consumable, and whatever we are focusing should be something that can feed, I reckon. So it's a question of, oh, what the fuck, what constraint is this? Yo, what's up, Klaus? Yo. We want to check if, or we want to define a dependency that we want to have a dependency that is like interaction dot interactable is of type. That should be one constraint, right? Then we can check this one. So it's pretty much this one. Depends on this one. So we want to check is interaction.pickup.interactable. So whatever we're holding, is it of type? Or is it of, or does it have, I think that's about it. And the other now when I think about it, dependencies are gonna be like where the magic happens in this system, or dependencies are gonna be what controls it the most. Action, interaction, focus is also an interaction. So here we want to check here it's more like interaction dot interactable and perform action. Fuck, this is what we want to do. Can have action performed on it. These are the dependencies we want to be able to check easily, and we want to be able to define in a modular and generic way. Does that make any sense? Action is in state, and interaction interactable can have action performed on it. Interaction interactable can perform action. Yu Xiang, what's up, what's up? Hope you had a great summer. Action is in state. The problem is, or not the problem, but something we can work with here is that, like these interaction here, so if I can write, okay, if I can write the examples of how the dependencies for action interaction feed would look, it would look something like this. Let's see here. Okay. It would look something like this. Interaction. Interaction feed dependencies, it would be interaction focus is in state processing. Interaction focus dot interactable. So whatever interaction focus is focusing can perform or has component interaction consume and interaction pickup is in state processing. Interaction pickup dot interactable has component interactable consume. It's not really interactable. Something like this, right? That's the dependencies I want to be able to define for action interaction feed. Or interaction feed for short. But dependencies. I don't know if I want to call this one interactable. So action, they don't need anything. They don't need another entity to be performed. So action is pretty much jump or run or walk. But then we have interaction. So that's an interaction between two entities. One doing the action and the other one being getting the action performed on them. Let's see if we can define this in a nice way. What I think I noticed now with the dependencies, however, which I'm very happy about, is that if we implement this dependency system in a nice way, we don't need to define it like this. We don't need to define it in the editor for every entity which we add an action to. Instead, we're going to define them in the actual action. So in the new implementation of action, we would have type, maybe we will have something like this: public abstract dependencies get, and then all of the non-abstract subclasses of action and interaction will have to define its own dependencies. And we're probably going to do it in... we're probably going to have a method here which, like, initialize... We're going to have to rename these a bit, but we're going to have some type of method for initializing an action. This is more for enter state initialize. Enter state initialize, enter state process, enter state finish. We're going to have to rename these, but yeah. So what we need to do now is we need to be able to define dependencies in a nice modular way, so that we can, when we initialize an action, we initialize its dependencies, and its dependencies are quote-unquote hard-coded in the subclass. I think that's the way I want to do it. Because the more I think about it, the more I move away from... So, like, the more I think about it, the clearer it becomes to me that every entity that can do action pickup will have the same dependency for action pickup. Like, all of them will depend on action focus or interaction focus, I think. So action dependency. Let's see if we can make it a bit clearer than this. Game action dependency. Dependencies should push their state to one sec. Okay, back again. So let's see. Dependencies for the action system. Dependencies should push their state to... I'm underlining this a lot, but I want them to push. Whenever they change, I want them to push to whatever components that need the information. I don't want to pull from them like we did previously. I think that leads to a lot of over-polling, which sucks. So dependencies should push their state to interestees. Whatever components that cares. Whatever component that cares. Yes, and I want to do some examples here for dependencies. Example of the dependency examples, and what I'm talking about here is these. So and I'm writing it like this because we don't really need to check this one unless this one is fulfilled. So if interaction focus is in processing, then we check this one. But I wonder if this dependency should imply this one. Yeah, maybe it should. Or should this be the baseline? And the more I think about it, can we define... So basically what we're doing here is we want to be able to... But if we make these dependencies be we constrain them a bit so we don't need to define them in the editor. They are like specifically defined in the actions themselves. Then we can probably I wonder if we want to define them like this. So And we do public class dependency. And then we do public type. So that's, I'm just going to write it like this. Type. So this is the type we depend on. And then we do, ooh, I think we're gonna do it like this. And then we do public func. How do we do this? I don't exactly remember the syntax here, but this is what we return, isn't it? And then we have whatever we send in, and that is going to be a action, I suppose. I would like to put this one as interaction. I don't think we're gonna, or actually I want to have it as interaction or action. Do interaction, func interaction, and here we do dependency. Dependency check is equal to, yeah, I don't remember the syntax fully, but let's just do and then we define the actual dependency like this. So we get an interaction of this type. Do we really need to have, yeah, we're gonna keep this type here. And then we just write whatever. So in the case for interaction feed, it would look something like we do it like this. Public class dependency. Can we have this one as struct type dependency check or func? Because the idea is if we define dependency like this, and then we have public Unity event On change, I don't know about that one. On change, we can do get private set. Something like this. But it's almost like, fuck it, let's do it in, let's implement it like this and see what happens. Type dependency check. Float. Don't we have... maybe it's easier to just check. TT result, yes. Namespace system. System.func bool interaction dependency check. And then we want events as well, using engine.events. So if we define a dependency like this, so it's a type. Interaction dependency check. We have on change. This is basically on change. We're just going to notify. So whenever this one changes, when it's either goes from false to true and to false, on change is going to trigger. So we want to notify whatever listens. Yo, what's up, Harukanen? Yeah, it's a little bit late for morning. PC was dead when I got to the office this morning. Oof, that sucks. So if we define a dependency like this, I want to do it like this because then when we when we define if we define the rules for dependency like this, then we can define a dependency like this. So let's say we want a public dependency. We want a constructor as well. And no NVMe disk found, and after a power cycle it came back, but the boot system was deader than this. Okay. Is the NVMe disk starting to give up. Or did something fry? Ah, fuck. I hate when computers don't work. It's the worst. I mean, it's gonna look cleaner if we just have type here, I think. So we do this dot type is equal to type. Because I wonder if, so when I define a dependency, I wonder if I want to define it like this. So dependency, and then we call it, for instance, check feed, or yeah, let's try and implement this one. Let's see how it would look. So dependency can be consumed dependency is equal to new dependency, and the type is type dot consume. So we start a dependency like this, and then we do can be consumed dependency dot dependency check. We're probably gonna change the names. Dependency function maybe is equal to, and then I wonder if we can do it like this. Interaction, and then inside of here we check so we want to check can be consumed dependency, type consume, fuck, we don't want to consume here, we want to type, this, it's becoming weirder and weirder, but we want, so what we want to check if it can be consumed, it's not focus, but pickup. Oh, no, actually, focus. So type focus. Now, I think it's got corrupted during a diesel test yesterday morning. As I was not here yesterday, I did not catch it until today. Diesel test. Oh, well, still, it sucks. Can focused be consumed? No, can focused consume? And this is redundant, I think. So we create a dependency here that is can focused consume. So what we want to check is can whatever we're focusing right now, can the entity we're focusing consume? It's this one we're checking. So this, whatever comes first is what we put here. But. Okay, I think we can clean this up a bit. We know that like this one, interaction, is an entity. And entities has interactables, supports action. So every entity should... Okay, this is great. This is what we're going to do. So if we have an entity, we can check with it, like can perform or can be performed upon. So I don't think we need this one, honestly. I think we can clean it up a bit. So yeah, we're gonna have... I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have a base class dependency, and then we're gonna have a little bit more specific dependencies, and then we create whatever specific dependencies we have. And yeah, I think we can do something nice here. Autocannon, every month we run a power test, and it can be a small blip in the Office grid. The data center will be fine, but Office is less prioritized. Oh, okay, I get it. That's pretty cool. Okay, so the way I'm thinking here, as for action dependency, is... I think this is good. We're gonna assume that all dependencies are... processing based. So game action dependency, this is going to be the base class. And so every dependency is going to have fulfilled and on change. So these two. Yeah. So this is our base dependency. Then I want to have... One sec. Okay, back. Sorry about that. But I think we're on to something here when it comes to these dependencies. So we have... So this is the base class, then we're gonna have public... I wonder if I want to make this abstract. I don't think I do. Now we want to be able to just define this one as well. But then we're gonna have... type dependency, type focus. Yo, what's up, Cash? Yeah, I think we're gonna do... Public class game action. Is that C++? No, it's C sharp. Public class game, like I want to create one dependency subclass that checks if we also need type. And here we're gonna have public type primary type and secondary type. Cash, how long it takes you to learn programming? I'm still learning, I would say. But to actually start creating some cool stuff, a year probably, I think. Okay, so I want to have one base dependency that checks if primary type is processing, and I want to have like secondary. I want to have another dependency that has a secondary type that checks if the interactable of the primary type can have an action executed on it, or if the secondary type, or if the interactable of the primary type can have an action, or can execute an action, pretty much. It's a bit complicated. I don't know how complicated it is, but okay, what was your first language? I think I started with JavaScript. I did some basic web development stuff. And after that, I think it was Java. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. Unfortunately, I need to run now. I will only be able to stream 3 hours this week. But I think we have solved the dependency implementation, how it's going to be implemented. I have it all in my head. Hopefully I can clarify it and show you tomorrow how I want it to look. How it's going to look and work. Hopefully I can put it to paper tomorrow. But yeah, until then, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of the day. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Peace.